A healthier, happier life begins here. Welcome to Mercy Moments, a podcast by Mercy Health in association with True Chat.
Did you know that for many years, Urbana has been a major part of the aviation industry? In fact, it was once noted that almost every American plane that flew during World War II was equipped with lighting that was actually manufactured by the Grimes Corporation. And that tradition continues today through the Honeywell Corporation, Grimes Field, and the Champaign Aviation Museum. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm your host for Mercy Moments, T. Allen Ceyler, coming to you from Champaign County here at True Chat Studios in Urbana, Ohio. She has been an integral part of the success of the Champaign Aviation Museum, and she is also the development manager for the museum. Please welcome to the program, Jessica P. Henry. Jessica, welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So can you tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself?
Definitely. So personally, my husband and I are avid gardeners, and we have just wrapped up an incredible growing season this year. Oh, yeah. So we harvested 370 ears of corn, bushels of tomatoes, green beans, zucchini, pickling cucumbers. It's been an epic canning season. The freezer is full, and we just couldn't be more thankful and more happy with that. We're also musicians, and I'm very impressed with the studio that you have here at True Chat. Pretty cool stuff you got going on here. Then on a professional level, I love the development work that I do at the Champaign Aviation Museum here in beautiful Urbana, Ohio. And it's awesome to help further the humanities and culture in our community.
So how did you get involved in the museum?
Yeah, so I first became aware of the Champaign Aviation Museum back in 2012, back when they were having the gathering of B-25s and the Doolittle reunion. So they had 16 B-25s and original guys from the Doolittle mission during World War II. So at that time, I was working in advertising at the Urbana Daily Citizen newspaper, and we were handling the advertising in the event program. So in a way, I was kind of involved back then, and that's when I first took an interest in the Champaign Aviation Museum. And also my grandfather was a World War II veteran.
Really?
So this important history has always been really close to my heart. So after the newspaper, I was actually the development manager at the Smithsonian affiliate Springfield Museum of Art for a couple of years, and I got a lot of museum experience during that time. Then the position became available at CAM, and I decided to make the transition. The rest is history.
So I guess a good place to start would be, can you tell us a little bit more about Grimes Field?
Yeah. So Grimes Field is the legacy of Warren Grimes, and he's known as the father of aircraft lighting industry. So at the age of 15, Grimes went to live with his brother, Frank, in Detroit, and he worked for Ford. Eventually, he left Ford and started designing lighting fixtures. And then later, Ford approached him in the mid-1920s to design new lights for the Ford tri-motor airplane.
I see.
In 1930, Grimes came back to Urbana, and later that decade, he purchased some farmland on the north end of Urbana. Then in August of 1943, Mr. Grimes presented the Grimes Field to the city of Urbana. By World War II, Grimes Manufacturing Company had grown to produce lighting for the needs of military aviation, as you mentioned at the very beginning. And the Grimes Company leased the airport from the city and continued to operate it until 1987, when operations were assumed by the city. Since then, the airport has evolved into a self-supporting operation, offering services ranging from fuel sales, corporate and private hangars, Care Flight hangar is stationed there. There's a full-service restaurant and 3 independent and unique museums.
So how does the Aviation Museum play into that?
Yeah, so World War II aviation is really the main direct tie-in between Grimes Field and Champaign Aviation Museum, as well as the connection with the museum's B-17 project founder, who was Jerry Schiffer.
I see.
He was a longtime supporter of improvements to the airfield and the community, and it just made sense to have the project here, as Jerry and his family were already flying in and out of Grimes Field, and they had a love of aviation and the local airport, and they wanted to see it be successful. So the local connection was already there, and it existed, and it was just logical to base the B-17 project and eventually the museum right there at Grimes Field.
So were there any other key players?
So really the Schiffer family is who got the B-17 project started, and we'll talk more about that later, but the community is the key player here for sure.
How exactly is the museum laid out?
Yeah, so when you walk into the museum, you're greeted by a B-17 tail gun armament, a ball turret, and so that's our lobby experience. It's free admission, so you just walk right in whenever you'd like, Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. As soon as you enter the museum hangar, you will see that we have lots of World War II veterans' personal effects and artifacts. And you can see that honoring our veterans is right at the top of our mission and what the Aviation Museum is all about. And then as you make your way through our hangar, you'll start to see some awesome airplanes, such as our B-25. We have a C-1A. We have a C-47. We have a Civil Air Patrol aircraft, an F-24 that was owned by Buddy Rogers, and then, of course, our B-17 restoration project.
So about how much space do you guys currently have?
Yeah, so we've got about 20,000 feet of hangar space for aircraft and exhibits, 3,000 feet of education, meeting, and office space, and 14,000 feet of workshop space. So in total, just under 40,000 total square footage at the museum.
So what would you say right now is the museum's core mission?
So the mission of the Champaign Aviation Museum is touching lives by restoring history with guiding principles that focus education and resources on the World War II era, to honor veterans and their families, to educate the public about the experiences of past generations that flew in combat, to restore and maintain the museum's historic aircraft in flying condition for public appreciation, and to educate the public about aircraft construction and maintenance.
Interesting. So has the mission changed at all over the years?
No, it really hasn't. Education and honoring our veterans and enhancing the community has always been at the core.
Well, that pretty much does it for the first segment. After the break, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the specific attractions at the museum, any upcoming special events, and updates to the progress of certain initiatives. We'd like to take this time to remind our listeners that all of True Chat's podcasts help pursue a common goal: to educate people by providing honest, open, and respectful conversations and information. To learn more about Mercy Moments, listen to the recap at the end of the program, and to search for previous episodes or find ways to listen, please visit us at mercymoments.org. So, what exactly is the National Aviation Heritage Area Partnership?
Definitely. Great question. So the National Aviation Heritage Area encompasses an 8-county area in Ohio, and that includes Montgomery, Greene, Miami, Clark, Warren, Champaign, Shelby, and Auglaize.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the organization seeks to conserve, interpret, develop, and promote the historic resources of the National Aviation Heritage Area. The vision of this alliance is to make the Dayton region the recognized global center of aviation heritage and premier destination for aviation heritage tourism, sustaining the legacy of the Wright brothers.
So how has that helped to further the initiatives specifically of the museum?
Oh, it has greatly helped. Several initiatives happening at the Champaign Aviation Museum. Just one, for instance, is their marketing campaigns. They increase the museum's visibility and tourism in Ohio and regionally. And also their annual grant support has helped with past aircraft projects such as a propeller for our C-1A. And this year we were awarded a grant to create 2 new interactive stories kiosks to share the experiences, hardships, and triumphs of the women Air Force service pilots who served during World War II.
So what is the B-25 or Champaign Gal living history experience?
Yeah, that's something we are very proud of. So Living History Flight Experience, LHFE for short, is a program we offer overseen by the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. So what this allows people to do is they can actually take a ride in our B-25 Champaign Gal. They can hear the roar of twin radial engines, and I'm here to tell you they are beefy and they are awesome. You can feel the thrill of soaring like a World War II bomber crew. Once you're flying, you can explore the aircraft nose to tail. So all the awesome windows and viewpoints you get to see, and you really just treasure the flight experience of a lifetime. We are the only one in Ohio. So we're really proud of that. And we also do outreach education missions. And so just last year, we flew to Butler Tech Aviation Academy down at the Butler Tech Airport. And so we shared our airplane with those students, and they got to learn about veterans and the aircraft. And we also do flyovers at events. So if people want to take a ride in the airplane, just check our website, champagneaviationmuseum.org, or you can call me directly at the museum, 937-652-4710, if you would like to be added to the notification list. We're wrapping up our flying season for this year, but we'll have lots more to offer in the spring and the summer next year.
Now, you guys are also restoring a B-17, I believe the Champaign Lady. How is that going?
It's going really well. So it's been some years in the making now, and it'll continue to be, some years until it's completed. But it's truly a unique cultural asset in our region, and history is being made right here in Urbana, Ohio. We're one of the few organizations in the world to be restoring the Flying Fortress. The aircraft will be about 80% new when it's all done because it will fly, and safety is huge for us. The majority of the work is being done by our museum volunteers, and most of the milling and machining and the parts fabrication is done right there at the museum. Great progress right now is being done on the wing sections, and actually thanks to a grant from the Grimes Foundation, we will soon be creating the internal corrugated wing skin.
I see.
Yeah, so that goes underneath the shiny aluminum part.
So you also have a World War II memorial lecture series as a part of that, right?
It's a free program that we offer at the Aviation Museum to educate the public about the history and experiences of World War II so that we don't forget about what happened during that time. The lectures are presented by Bill Albers. He's a Dutch American who survived World War II, and he's also one of our volunteers. So he frequently lectures about World War II subjects. So please join us on Thursday, September 16th at 11 a.m. to learn about the history of gliders used in combat during World War II. And it's free.
So how does that tie into the Annual Remembrance Day ceremony?
It does. So as mentioned, honoring World War II veterans and their service is a core mission value at the museum. And each year we hold the Annual Remembrance Day to honor the brave airmen and women who served during World War II. So we bring in a military chaplain. We have singers. There's a color guard to present the colors. And then the public is invited to participate by stepping up to the podium at the ceremony, reading the name and the information of their World War II veteran. At that time, one of our volunteers will chime a ceremonial bell, and the veteran is then inducted into our Hall of Honor, which is a permanent part of the Aviation Museum, and that document will fly with the B-17 Champaign Lady when she's completed. So if you know a veteran and you'd like to participate this year on Saturday, October 9th at 11 a.m., visit champaignAviationMuseum.org/Remembrance Day to download the induction form and for more information.
Now, I think you touched on this earlier. One thing that really impressed me was the virtual tour that you guys have on your website.
Yeah, we created that last year, back when the pandemic hit. We're like, oh my gosh, how do we reach our audience and still bring, history education and experience to people when they can't, come into the museum? So we received grant funds from the Ohio Humanities, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and the Federal CARES Act of 2020. And we just created a virtual tour of the museum. So a company came in and scanned the entire museum. And then we just selected some key objects to share with people. So you can just click your way through the space. It's available on our website, champaignAviationMuseum.org, 3D virtual tour tab at the top. And you can just walk through the museum space as if you were there. And you'll also get some extra videos and information, interviews with veterans as well.
So is the Women's Air Force Service Pilots Project a part of that?
It is. So you can see our exhibit, the Women Air Force Service Pilot exhibit, within the 3D tour. But right now, now that the museum is opened again, with the grant funds from NAHA, we are creating 2 interactive Wasp Stories kiosks to share their stories. So when visitors come to the museum, they can just walk up to the kiosk, touch select a photo of the woman pilot during her service time, put on the headphones, much like we're wearing right now, and hear their stories, either narrated by themselves or a family member or a professional voice actor. And it's just really cool. It brings their stories to life. And for those of you who don't know, the Women Air Force Service pilots served during World War II because there was an extreme need for male pilots to serve in combat roles. However, there was still a ton of flying to be done stateside. So these brave ladies, they ferried aircraft like from the factories out to the coast where they needed to be flown out for combat. They tested aircraft before anyone even knew how the airplanes behaved. They towed targets for guys on the ground to do, artillery practice, and they just filled a major role for our country. And they also paved the way for future generations of women pilots everywhere. So their story needs to be told.
I think you were talking about funding earlier. So the 10th Annual Gala is coming up pretty soon, correct? It
is. Save the date for Saturday, April 30th, 2022. And that is our biggest fundraiser of the year. So it starts off at 5:30 p.m. with cocktail hour, social hour, and hors d'oeuvres. And then we will fly over our B-25. So that's always fun. And then we have a delicious plated dinner. Last year, it was sort of a beef tenderloin and shrimp. And then we have an A-list speaker every year. More details will be announced here soon, and tickets will go on sale in the fall. And I'd just like to say museum members get a discount on their gala tickets as well.
Well, that brings up another good point. So how exactly exactly is the museum funded?
Yeah, the museum's funded. The gala is our primary fundraiser, but we survive completely on support from the community. We're an independent 501c3 nonprofit organization. So support from donors, just like folks who may be listening today would like to support our organization. But we have lobby donations, gift shop sales, membership, the gala, grants, pretty well just your standard, nonprofit funding sources.
So what's the CAM membership?
CAM membership is a great way that you can support our mission and get a lot of great benefits at the same time. You can sign up at champaignAviationMuseum.org/membership or pick up a paper form at the museum. Memberships start at $25 and they go up from there with increasing benefits at every level. Some benefits include you get our newsletter every year. You'll stay twice a year, actually. You'll be on our email list. You get a discount on your gala tickets. We got flight jackets. We've got patches. You get discount on your B-25 ride. Just all these great benefits. And one of which is really cool is the North American Reciprocal membership benefit. So that means you can become a member at your local Champaign Aviation Museum and then travel to over 1,000 other organizations across North America and get benefits there. One example is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. Their admission is about $20 to $30 to get into their museum. But if you show them your Reciprocal Aviation Museum card, you will get free admission.
Wow.
So there are just financial benefits and, tangible benefits out the wazoo, and you will just be really supporting a great mission right here in Urbana.
So for those out of town that don't already know, where exactly are you guys located?
We are located at 1652 North Main Street here in Urbana, and that's the same as US 68.
So what about website?
Yeah, our website is Champaign, spelled like the county, CHAMPAIGN, aviationmuseum.org.
I think you threw out a couple numbers earlier, but just to reiterate, what's a good contact number for you guys?
The best contact number is 937-652-4710.
Well, that pretty much does it for the program today. A quick reminder, our goal here at Mercy Moments is to promote local resources, awareness, and involvement. Therefore, if you have any concerns related to past episodes or have suggestions for future programs, please contact us at taceyler@mercy.com. That's capital TACEYLER@mercy.com. Again, I'd like to thank my guest today, Jessica P. Henry, for being here. You can listen to Mercy Moments on TrueChat via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere else fine podcasts are found. For Mercy Moments, Mercy Health Urbana Hospital, and TrueChat, I'm your host, T. Allen Ceyler.
And I'm Jessica Henry.
Thank you for listening today. Stay healthy, Ohio.